Well, good morning, conference. Should we try that again? Good morning, conference. Much better. Look, it's good to be amongst friends after, let's face it, something that was pretty, frankly, bruising, that last election. Boy, did that hurt. And yet, 4 days here with all of you has helped turn my anger and my disappointment into optimism. I can feel the energy. I can feel the determination. I can feel the hope. You, the beating heart of our party, know there is a way back for us. I know we can and we will rebuild this party. I know we can and we will reconnect with the British people. I know we can and we will restore trust. And if we do that, we can and we will win again. But to do so, you know what it needs. It demands honesty. We've heard platitudes, not substance, in this campaign. Too much about personality, not enough about principle. Too much about change without saying how. And I'm standing before you today because I've had enough of the lack of substance, the lack of principle, the lack of clarity. My friends, I've had enough of Westminster's political games, petty point scoring, and self-service. It's not becoming of our great party or our great nation. We can do better. Now, I'm standing because what we need is leadership. I'm standing to lead not just this party, but to be the next Conservative Prime Minister of this great country. Now, friends, I know what leadership really is. Before I stood for Parliament, I was a soldier. I served our country and I faced our enemies. I know what leadership demands when everything else has been cut away and there's nothing left. Character is what remains. In Afghanistan and in Iraq, I served in combat alongside the best. And I've seen friends push themselves beyond their limits, and some made the ultimate sacrifice. But when it was hard, when it was tough, we kept going, even after we were knocked down and thought it was over. I know what drove them, and I know what drove me. It's leadership. And our country is crying out for leadership. And leadership is not about empty promises. It's not about cheap rhetoric or government by management consultancy. It's not about managing decline, and it's not about talking our country down. Leadership is about making choices that serve our country and our people best. I promise you that as your leader, I will serve our country. I will lead with conviction. I will act decisively. My mission is the prosperity and happiness of the British people. Together, we can win. Now, over hundreds of years, we have defended freedom around the world, and we've always known what our flag means. I'm proud to know that where it flies, our values are always defended. Britain has been on the right side of history, and I'm proud of our history. Unlike Labour, I will never apologise, ever, for who we are and the country that we can be. And from Churchill to Thatcher, our party has led the fight for freedom, united against the threats that we faced. But we need to face the truth. Many who share our values did not vote for us. So let me speak directly to those of you who have supported us in the past but didn't this time. If you went to Reform, I want to show you the Conservative values that we share. If you went to the Lib Dems, I want you to see the opportunities that only we can deliver. And if you went to Labour, I want to show you why freedom, not state control, is how we build. If you stayed at home, I want to make you proud to vote Conservative again. Now, I will grip this party so that we're ready to rescue our country from Labour. I will turn us from a Westminster club into a champion of Conservative voices, from Holyrood to Cardiff Bay and Stormont, and every council across our great country. I will defeat Labour and lead us back to power in 5 years' time. We all know that this country cannot afford Labour. You can't afford Labour. I can't afford Labour. Lord Ali can't afford Labour. But let's be honest, as a patriot, I want what's best for our country. So I always want our country to succeed. Labour have already shown us who they are. They are the most venal and vindictive administration in decades. Starmer isn't just making pensioners pay for his union paymasters. He's undermining freedom of speech in our universities. He's trashing our border security. Instead of keeping us safe, he wants to police smoking in beer gardens. He's freeing criminals, not standing up for the police. Now, I know what it's like when a Labour government doesn't have your back. The last Labour government left our troops without body armour in Iraq and without helicopters in Afghanistan. As your Prime Minister, I will never abandon those on the front line. Because, friends, I will always stand up for those who put their lives on the line to keep us safe. Because we are the Conservative Party, the party of security, the party of law and order. Now, Starmer is half right when he says that things will get worse before they get better. They will certainly get worse, I can promise you that. We're going to have a lot of cleaning up to do when we're back in 5 years' time. I hope you're ready. Because Starmer's bleak outlook is already hurting our country. His tax hikes are an attack on business, slowing growth and hurting families. His tax on education will cost everyone, either in higher bills or in larger class sizes. Now, they're even after 3-year-olds at nurseries. I mean, I tell you, Conference, Labour's new tax, it's quite literally a dummy tax. So when Keir Starmer talks about service, you will understand that I don't really believe him. That's not what we mean by service, is it, Conference? When I think of service, I think of our doctors and nurses, our teachers, our police officers, our armed forces. I think of those who sacrifice for our country every single day. That's service. When Keir Starmer thinks of service, he thinks of free tickets to Taylor Swift. Now, friends, that tells you everything you need to know. Labour have told us who they are. They're rudderless, selfish, and greedy. They're taking us back to the 1970s and the politics of division, socialism, higher taxes, more regulation, more control, the lowest common denominator, trashing hopes and dreams. Conference, we have to fight to rescue our country. Now, the politics that drives me builds on the best in us and makes us stronger. So to those who want to divide us, I say this. I served with men and women of every religion and background with pride. We are one nation. We are one united kingdom. And the Conservative Party... The Conservative Party and our country are both built on the same thing. They're both built on patriotism and purpose. Patriotism brings us together, and purpose gives us each a stake in our future. So as Labour's mandate evaporates before our very eyes, we need to be ready. As your leader, I will rebuild CCHQ from the ground up, putting you back at the heart of our party. And I will turn us back into being the campaign-winning machine that you know we can be. Now, my plan is to rebuild the Conservative Party and to make you proud again. My mission is to win the next general election, and I have never failed a mission yet. So, conference. You know it. The fight back starts now. We will focus on what the British people need and be absolutely ruthless about delivering it. From healthcare and immigration to security and education, we will deliver. And we can bring down taxes, but not if we treat these symptoms separately. That is a prescription for managed decline. We can only fix the problem if we diagnose the cause. And it starts, as every Conservative knows, with our economy. Real growth, not the illusion of growth that has been boosted by migration, has barely shifted in the past 30 years. Now, that's left us poorer and more vulnerable. We need to free the economy. We need a new Conservative revolution. That's what Margaret Thatcher did. That's what we must do again. And we can do it. Our Conservative mayors have already shown the way. Ben Houcham in Tees Valley, with investment to turn Redcast Steelworks from a derelict ruin to the ground zero of growth for the North East, and Andy Street here in Birmingham, with homes and transport connections that generated investment and brand new jobs. They focused on delivery, not ideology. They understand that Britain needs leaders who just get it done, because Conservative leadership changes lives. Now, I will build an economy that works for you, that delivers homes and jobs for our children, that helps people back to well-paid work, that lets you choose what you do with your money. That's my politics. That's what I will deliver. That's what I mean by a new Conservative revolution. So let's talk about migration. Of course we need an effective deterrent. But we must solve as well as stop. And that's why I'll set a legal cap on net migration at 100,000. Not a target, not an ambition, a cap. But a cap alone won't work. This is about visas, not about foreign courts. Let me tell you something that my opponents probably won't. This isn't simple. We issued the visas because businesses need the staff for our care homes and our hospitals to look after our families. So how do we square this circle? Well, we need to fix migration by fixing the gaps in education and skills, in transport and in housing, so that we can recruit at home and not abroad. Now, I will end the cap on apprenticeships and use the immigration skills charge to invest in further education and train our own people. But it's not just skills. We need higher wages. And for that, businesses need to be able to grow faster with a fantastic, skilled and healthy workforce and less regulation holding them back. Now, to get our people ready for the future, the best education needs to be everywhere, for every child. Freeing schools and creating academies has seen our schools improve. in Labour-run Wales and the SNP in Scotland, standards are falling. But here in England, my kids are getting a great education because our Conservative government gave parents choice and trusted teachers to teach. That's what a Conservative revolution delivers. And for our families to stay fit, you know it, we need the best healthcare. In Australia, across Europe, they have better cancer outcomes and better access to doctors. Let's be honest, our health service is not the envy of the world. Our doctors and our nurses are fantastic, but the bureaucrats in charge slow down their ability to deliver. It's not about money. We need to strip away excess regulations and barriers and put the patient at the centre of care. Connecting communities, simpler planning laws, a great education wherever you live, a workforce trained to meet the needs of business, and healthcare that delivers for the patient. It's all about trust. Trust is the foundation of growth, the foundation of the growth that we need to see our country prosper. Trust allows us to simplify our laws and to bring down taxes. Now, my vision of a Conservative Britain is a Britain where people are trusted and free. We need a Conservative revolution in thinking across the government to get there, and the only way that we're going to industrialise our economy and get jobs back here is to have a Conservative revolution now. Now, conference, I've often spoken about foreign affairs, from China and how we need to reduce our dependence, to my warnings about the energy shocks that Russia and Iran could throw at us. All three countries threaten our security, and we need to change how we invest to protect our prosperity. And let's face it, that starts with energy security. We need to build new nuclear power plants again, so that we are never dependent on tyrants. The lesson from Germany is stark. They bet on cheap Russian energy, on fast Chinese growth, and they left their borders open. Now, none of those bets have paid off. Dictators are dictating the terms of trade once more, and that's why we need to stand with our allies. That's why I was proud to be in Kiev and to hear so many cheering Boris Johnson and Ben Wallace for their courage in standing up to Putin. I will always stand for freedom. Now, freedom, as we know, is our greatest strength. There is no weapon, no missile, no tank, nothing more powerful than the courage of free men and women defending what is precious to them. And as chair of the Foreign Affairs Committee and as Security Minister, I have always called out our enemies and warned clearly of the dangers that we face. I was sanctioned by Beijing, by Moscow and by Tehran for the privilege. The same Tehran that overnight launched hundreds of missiles against Israel, a country it has vowed to destroy. And I'm proud of the role played by our armed forces overnight. In an ever more dangerous world, conference, I will never stay silent in the face of aggression or when our freedoms are threatened. I will always remember the promise I made to keep our country safe. Friends, we need to remember who we serve and how our problems are connected and how we fix them together. We need to give young people the chance to own a home, connect that home to work and that work to growth. That's our route back. That's how we win again, by remembering that Conservative principles start with the family and build to the nation. By remembering that conservative economics help you control your own life and your own wealth. By remembering that conservative delivery starts with the patient and the pupil, not the faceless bureaucrat. When we... Now, conference, we know that when we deliver all three, when we actually deliver what people need, that's when we meet converts, when we bring people to us. We don't make enemies. So, conference, I will tell you what a conservative is. Someone who believes in Britain, who believes in limited government, who believes in free trade and responsibility to others. Now, we are not afraid of the future, because we are building on the strong foundations of the past. And I'm standing because I believe in Britain. I have fought for Britain, and I've had enough of those who want to manage decline. That's what socialism delivers. That's not who I am. It's not who you are. And nothing is more fatal to a mission than losing faith in the future. Nothing is more fatal to success than setting our ambitions so low that we don't even try. And nothing is more fatal to a nation than giving up on our belief in it. Now, that's why we must win. Not in 10 years, not in 15, but in 5. We can't afford Labour. The country can't afford socialism. We cannot afford to wait. And I will not wait. It's time to seize the moment and turn this around. Now, friends, I get it. You've had enough. So have I. But you have a choice. In this leadership election, you have a choice. And it's a choice about change. My opponents claim that they've got more management experience around the cabinet table. Sure, that's true. But I'm not here to manage. I'm here to lead. My friends, you know it. We're not going to change this party and this country with the same management, the same mantra, the same slogan. The only way to build trust back is to show real change. And that's the new conservative revolution that I promise. That's the change only I can deliver. That's the change only I will bring. Our mission is the prosperity and happiness of the British people, and we start today.